For most of the 20th century, there existed a state called Yugoslavia. However, if you looked at a map today, you would find 6 independent republics and an autonomous state. How did it end up like this? To find out, we'll have to look at the history of the Southern Slavs. For centuries, the Southern Slav lands have been under the control of 2 different empires, the Habsburg Austrians and the Ottoman Turks. This created 3 main religious groups: Roman Catholic, Eastern Orthodox, and Muslims. After the collapse of both the Austrian Empire and the Turkish Empire, a state encompassing all the Southern Slavs was created, the Kingdom of Yugoslavia, under the domination of Serbia. However, no one was quite happy with this arrangement, as the minorities within the kingdom all sought greater autonomy. This issue would be forcibly settled, however, with the swift invasion of Nazi Germany in 1941. Yugoslavia would be partitioned between the Axis parties, with the only semblance of sovereignty being the puppet state of Croatia. The Croats, who had suffered under the Serbian domination during the Kingdom of Yugoslavia, ruthlessly committed genocide on all Serbs in the puppet state. Yugoslav liberation was special compared to other states in World War II, as it was mostly done by themselves without any outside help. The communist partisans run by Josip Broz Tito would become a legendary force as they rallied the Yugoslavian population under the slogan of brotherhood and unity. After kicking the Germans out, Tito established a communist authoritarian regime in Yugoslavia, suppressing nationalism with force. Tito's regime, although described as a dictatorship, was popular both inside Yugoslavia and outside of it. Tito had done the impossible, managing to unite a country separated by war, religion, and ethnicity. But how was this Yugoslavia run? Yugoslavia consisted of 6 nominally equal republics and 2 autonomous regions. It was run by a single-party communist system, highly centralized under Tito's party. Over Tito's reign, however, more and more power was handed to the separate republics, as the presidency of Tito became a collective head of state from representatives of all 6 republics and the 2 autonomous provinces. The most prominent cause of the Yugoslav Wars was the nationalism of the over 6 ethnic groups. All groups had bold memories of the treatment by other groups in the past. As an example, Serbians had a vivid memory of the massacres done by the Croats during World War II. During Tito's regime, these nationalistic ideals had been suppressed under the cloak of brotherhood and unity. However, after Tito's death, it became evident that it was not the institution of Yugoslavia that was preventing revolts, it was Tito himself. Religion, as mentioned before, also played a role, as Eastern Orthodoxy, Roman Catholic, and Muslims were all prominent in Yugoslavia. In 1987, Slobodan Milosevic ran for the presidency of Serbia. He utilized Serbia's nationalism and the removal of the autonomous regions in Serbia to gain political support and emphasized Serbia's supremacy over brotherhood and unity, portraying Serbia as a victim of other nationalities. Milosevic managed to install loyalists as the representatives for the 2 autonomous regions of Serbia and Montenegro, effectively controlling half the vote for the Communist Party. Whenever other republics argued for greater autonomy, Milosevic and his 4 votes would shut down any movement. This made the delegates of Croatia and Slovenia walk out of the Congress, symbolically dissolving the one-party communist system in Yugoslavia. This allowed multi-party elections to run in each of the separate republics, and with the death of the Communist Party, independence parties obtained power in all the republics, with the exception of Serbia and Montenegro. The sides of the Yugoslav Wars, or any wars in the Balkans, are notoriously complicated, and in this Balkan War there are a whole 10 sides fighting for different goals. Starting from the top, we have the Slovenes in Slovenia, who wanted independence from Yugoslavia. The Republic of Slovenia was uncharacteristically homogeneous, with a low Serbian population, allowing it to withdraw from the Union relatively without bloodshed. The Croats in Croatia wanted independence from Yugoslavia. They wanted this independent Croatia to be territorially intact and dominated by them, the Croats. The Serbians in Croatia did not want to be part of this new Croatian state, as the last time it happened, thousands of Serbians had been massacred. They wanted either to be reunified with Serbia or have a separate Serbian-dominated state. They were also supported by Serbia itself. The Bosniaks in Bosnia were Muslims who wanted independence and the territorial integrity of Bosnia and Herzegovina. However, Bosnia was the most split nation in terms of ethnicity, with Bosniaks only having 43% of the population. No one else in Bosnia wanted an independent Bosnia dominated by the Muslim Bosniaks. The Bosnian Serbs sought the partition of Bosnia, and similar to the Serbs in Croatia, they either wanted to be reincorporated into Serbia itself or have a separate state by themselves. They were also supported by Serbia. The Bosnian Croats also sought the partition of Bosnia and either wanted to be incorporated into Croatia or have a separate state by themselves. They were supported by Croatia itself. The Serbian JNA started as the Yugoslav army, but after Yugoslavia started collapsing, it quickly became a Serbian-dominated force that attempted not to reunify Yugoslavia, but to support Serbian uprising in other states and expand Serbian influence. The Albanians in Kosovo were among the first to rebel and wanted an independent state for themselves. Although they were already autonomous, the Albanians wanted to have a full state status equal to that of the other republics. The issue of Kosovo is still debated today. The Macedonians in Macedonia wanted independence from Yugoslavia and was the only state to escape Yugoslavia without any bloodshed at all. The state, similar to Slovenia, was homogeneous with Macedonians, with a negligible Serbian population. UN/NATO sought peaceful arrangements and the contamination of the conflict. However, instead of addressing the underlying issues of the conflict, the UN created safe zones that did little to no progress in stopping the massacres, and NATO sent peacekeeping forces later on in the war that bombed the belligerents into creating a peace treaty. Slovenia and Macedonia left Yugoslavia relatively peacefully. Serbia attempted to recover Slovenia, but after only 10 days gave up the effort. Croatia and Bosnia, however, are a completely different story. The Serbians in Croatia rose up in fear of Croatian oppression in a new state. The Serbian rebels proclaimed the Republic of Serbian Krajina, and after fighting for 2 years, a ceasefire was announced where the state of Croatia was recognized and the UN sent peacekeeping forces there. The Serbian rebels became entrenched and were finally dislodged in 1995, with the last pocket being peacefully reintegrated into Croatia in 1998. Bosnia voted for independence in 1992, with Bosnian Serbs boycotting the vote. After declaring independence, Serbian and Croatian forces inside Bosnia began mobilizing, supported by their respective countries. The government rejected plans for a partition Bosnia by ethnic lines and prepared for war. The Bosnian War was characterized by massive bombings, ethnic cleansing by all three sides, systematic mass rape, and the massacres of entire cities. Although the Serbians originally had the upper hand with the JNA support, they lost momentum after the Bosniaks and the Croats allied against them. A peace treaty was finally signed in 1995 with an 80,000-strong peacekeeping force sent by NATO to ensure a peaceful end. These conflicts resulted in the deadliest European war since World War II, and although Slovenia escaped relatively blood-free with 70 deaths, the war in Croatia resulted in 22,000 deaths, and the war in Bosnia resulted in over 100,000 deaths. The casualties from these wars were mainly civilians, and displacement because of these wars was common, with millions losing their homes. Ethnic cleansing and rapes were common throughout the war, mainly done by the Serbians. The war completely decimated Bosnia, Croatia, and Kosovo, leading to economic woes that would last for generations. The genocides and general horrors of the war only strengthened the hatred between the new countries. The Albanians would still harbor resentments, leading to an uprising in Macedonia in 2001, and the Kosovo War, both concerning minority rights and the potential of creating more states. Currently, the problem of Kosovo is still an issue worldwide, as countries disagree on whether it is sovereign or not. The Yugoslav Wars have shown us how ethnic tensions could still create conflicts in this modern world, but also how global establishments work in containing them and preventing another world war from starting in the Balkans.